welcome to Shirley Bags LLC. Glad to see you, glad you could be here, glad you could join me. So just want to talk a little bit today about intellectual property. So your intellectual property, those are your intangible assets created with the mind. Intangible assets created with the mind, so intangible, those are assets that you can't touch because they are created with the mind. So we talk about the copyrights, the patents, the trademarks, and the trade secrets. So in other words, you write a book. So like me, I wrote several books. So that will come under a copyright. I will get a copyright for those books. So those are my intangible assets created with my mind, my intellect. And then we have the patents. You have an invention. You created an invention. You built some type of machinery, some type of device, and you got a patent for that. And then we have our trade secrets. So your trade secrets are, in other words, you have a business and you have a secret you don't want to get out. You don't want your competitors to get a hold of your secret and obtain your positioning in the market, in the marketplace. They're grabbing your position in the marketplace because they stole your trade secrets. You had a recipe, you had some type of secret in your business that you were making money off of, and that was your intellectual property, your intangible asset, and would be considered your intellectual property. So you don't want nobody to get a hold of that. You don't want another company to get a hold of your intangible asset, your trade secret. Then we have our trademark. In other words, you have a business name, you have your logos, you have your labels. Your logos, your labels, your business name, you will get a trademark for that. And that would also be your intangible asset, which is your intellectual property. So intellectual property, if we have anything under the intellectual property, anything under our intellectual property, that gives us the exclusive right to use that intellectual property to make money. So nobody should be infringing on, in other words, nobody should be infringing on my book. So that would be copyright infringement. Nobody should be infringing on my patent. So I guess that would be patent infringement. Nobody should be infringing on my trademark, my logos, my labels, my business name. So that comes under my trademark, that is considered my intellectual property. That would be trademark infringement. Nobody should be infringing on my trademark. Nobody should be infringing on my trade secrets that I have in my business. I have my business, Shirley Bags LLC, and nobody should be infringing on my business. So my this would be my logo. This would be something that I could get trademarked. My intellectual property. So my business name, my logos, and my labels. My logo, this is my logo. This will come under my intellectual property. So anybody try to infringe on my logos, my labels, my business names, my products, if I had them trademarked, I had my products trademarked, but I what I do, I buy my products from other companies and then for resale. But so